Ryan, the last time we spoke, it seemed like there was optimism on your side and also on the other side for a deal to get done with Alexander Hollins
Yeah.
to reunite you guys. Clearly, that didn't happen.
Right.
What went wrong? Why wasn't it able to get pushed through?
Yeah, wanted something to get done, talked to Alex, talked to his agent. At the end of the day, I think the numbers just too far apart. Love him as a person, still do. Wish him nothing but great success, but it just didn't work out.
That's a significant chunk of change that you're now paying him to play for another team. Would you have handled the situation differently now with hindsight being 2020?
Well, we wanted to restructure the deal initially, and so that didn't happen. And so I wish that would have happened because we would have loved to have him. Again, the medical part of it was a big question moving forward for us. So chose to go this route. Happy we did, but wish him well.
How much do you think that $75K in dead cap limits you going forward, or does it limit you at all?
Yeah, I don't think it does. I mean, it is a big chunk of cap, but we've got a good plan in place and going to continue moving forward with it.
What excites you about your football team as you head to camp with the moves that you made and the fact that you have, looks like a Nathan Rourke who's relaxed, comfortable, and is embracing being the leader of this team?
Yeah, I think you just said it. I think he's taken the next step in the leadership. I'm most excited to see what he does in Buck's offense. So the collaborative nature of what they've been doing for the last few months has been impressive. The buzz here in the building with the players that have been buying in with the offseason conditioning programs and that kind of stuff has been awesome. I think we've had more numbers than we've ever had. But the excitement is the unknown of, who's going to step up. What young players that we've invested in are going to make that move from backups to starters. It's things like that. So very excited for all of that, but obviously Nathan's a huge part of that.
How do you see the offense? Because Justin just talked about the fact that it looks like, guys were penciled in slots under the old system, which was fine. It worked, but now there seems to be maybe more flexibility and the playbook will be used differently.
Yeah, I think, talking with Buck and Coach Burgoyne, I think the way they look at receivers is they want everybody to be able to play everywhere. And so that flexibility and versatility is a big, big part of things moving forward. So in the past, I think players have been kind of one or two positions. I think now it's you try them at everything. You maximize what their skill set is, and then you move forward with what they're good at. And so I think guys like Justin are going to be used in ways they've never been used before.
What have you seen out of Buck as he prepares for his first season as a head coach?
Just tremendous attention to detail, terrific leadership, accountability. He's got some toughness to him, something we've been focusing on all offseason. So a tremendous leader, tremendous character guy. So he's what we thought he was going to be. So we're excited now. We know who he is as a person. Now it's time to get on the field and prove it.
That word toughness, that was something that some folks thought this team lacked last year.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing that brought into this team?
Yeah, it starts with Buck. And so it's the expectations that he sends, and then that trickles down to his coaches. And so I think you have to emphasize those things. I think on the field for practice, you have to emphasize those in drills, whether it's blocking or ripping the ball out on defense and doing all those little things. So some of those things we did in the past, some we didn't. And so I'm excited to see where we go.
We know your offensive line needed to be worked on. Do you like what you've done to your offensive line? How do you see your offensive line?
Yeah, the biggest things that we see are, the trade that we made for Dejan Allen at right tackle to solidify that spot. So bringing in a CFL All-Star is something that's tremendous. We were fairly weak there last year. George Una, the first round pick 2 years ago, he's going to get every chance to win that right guard spot. So we've got a lot invested in him. He had a terrific rookie camp last year, and so we're going to see what he can do. But we also have additional depth that maybe we haven't had, and we just took 3 offensive linemen in the draft. So all of those guys were drafted because they have specific traits, and so they do one or multiple things very, very well, despite where we drafted them. So it's going to be exciting to see what Sharps can do with them and where we go.
Speaking of the draft, you take Hayden Harris with your first pick. Obviously, he's under contract with the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
When do you expect to see him, and what have your conversations been like with him?
Yeah, conversations have been limited. It's been more with the Buffalo staff, to be honest with you, about what they feel about him and what that possible future might be. Hayden's a terrific player. He's earned that opportunity, so we're going to be patient. I think you guys heard me say it, but he was the number 1 player on our board. Mm-hmm. And again, at 11, we felt like we couldn't pass that up. So we've talked to Hayden a little bit, but obviously his focus right now is the NFL, and it should be. He's earned that right. We hope to obviously have him back sooner than later, but I would think at the fall would be the earliest that we would get him.
You made an aggressive move with your second selection to go up and get Jackson Finley. I've spoken to him. You say he was the best interview you've ever had.
He was.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
but you drafted a starting safety last year in Christophe Beaulieu.
Yeah.
How do you imagine the dynamic being with those two guys, and is one of them potentially in the mix at Sam?
Yeah, I don't know about, we call it nickel, by the way, but look, first, tremendous kid. Obviously, he's a great athlete. He produced, he's local, which is just a huge bonus. He's a size speed guy. The coach is already talking about package stuff to get him involved. And then even with Christophe, so he can be moved around. I think Christophe has some athleticism that maybe some of the other guys don't. And so you can move him around as well. And so the best thing for us is, we don't want to miss on the kid. And so that may not have been our biggest need, but to get somebody that talented that's also a local player and to have him come in and be a core 4 guy right away, but also playing packages was absolutely huge.
Going into training camp, where you see the biggest battles be, which positions do you have your eye on specifically?
Yeah, you just mentioned it. So the nickel position for us is going to be it's probably going to be a rookie, the way we're built. And so that battle is going to be absolutely huge. And then right guard, we talked about Una and David Foucault and some of the other players that we have. Also center. So Michael Couture and Tyler Packer, Andrew Pearson, those guys are going to battle for that spot. And then again, with the rookies that we just brought in, we're not putting a ceiling on any of these players. The best guys are going to play. I don't care if it's Canadian, American. We played with 9 Canadians at a couple of spots last year. So we want to win. We want to do it with the right guys. And those battles are going to be key for us.
And injury-wise, can you provide us an update on where Josh Woods is in his recovery and if there's any other concerns entering training camp?
Yeah, so Woods is still battling. So he's just under a year, I think, of where he was from the ACL. So he's going to come to camp. We'll see what he's going to be, but in terms of a starting date or when he's going to be on the field, we'll take a wait and see approach. I think it's coming close, and I'm not trying to be evasive to you. I'm just telling you what we have. Adam O'Clair's got a shoulder injury. He won't be ready for at least training camp. He's going to be up there as well. He'll be battling, but he's not going to do any contact stuff. So we'll see how that one turns out as well. Outside of that, we're pretty clean.
For that linebacker position, what does that necessarily mean? Because you got Mike Awe and Ben Halakik. They're more middle guys. For that weak side, do you see Halakik sliding over? Or?
Yeah, I think Mike has done both. Mike has played Mike and Will, and that was something that we took into consideration, just knowing what the injury factor was going to be. So his versatility and skill set played a big part in him being signed. Halakik's played Mike and done it well for years, and so we know we can do that. But we're really, really high on the rookies. So Mike Smith, Devin Richardson, we feel very, very good about these kids coming in. They're going to be given every chance to compete, but again, it's going to be the best guys, and merit is going to trump all. So what these guys do on the field is going to be the most important thing.
Ryan, are you comfortable telling us how much Nathan restructured his contract to the tune of, and how much flexibility it has given you in the offseason with the moves that you've made? Yeah,
I'm always going to keep contract stuff in-house. Fair question, but that's just how I'm going to handle it. It did give us some flexibility. It just shows you what type of guy Nathan is. He didn't have to do any of that. He's paid very, very well still, and he's earned all of that. But we're going to keep that in-house.
Did you want to ensure that he remains the league's highest paid player?
I don't think that's important to us. I don't think that's important to Nathan either, if I can speak freely. So, he needs to be well compensated. I think he's earned that again, but I don't think there was ever a time where either his agent or us or he said, "Hey, let's make sure you're the highest paid guy." Yeah.